And again, we are here for direct mailers today. My name is Kate, and I'm going to be the one who's guiding you through this today. We're going to take a look at creating a postcard through command, as well as how to send that out through command. So I'm going to have everyone muted for today's class. It just allows me to make sure that we're getting through all of our content. But if at any point you have any questions at all, go ahead and drop those in the chat. I will stop periodically to take a look, see if there's anything important we need to take a look at. But yeah, let's jump in. So the first thing you want to do is go to command, and you can access command by going to agent.kw.com. That is the command website. From there, you are going to log in with your username and password. And then from there, your home screen may look slightly different from mine. And that's totally okay, because every command is customizable to a certain extent, so you can adjust what this looks like when you log in. Oops. Letting people in, so give me 1 second. From here, the first thing we want to do is we actually want to head over to our marketing profile. So to access our marketing profile, we are going to click on the drop down next to our name. And I like to point out that the marketing profile is different from my profile. My profile is going to feed to the kw.com site so that people can find you as an agent. But other than that, none of that information on that profile feeds over to your website or to any other platform through command. So you want to head into settings. And then from settings, we want to go into connect settings in the marketing profile. Now, this is the profile that, in my opinion, is the most important profile in command. The reason for that being is that this profile is the one that feeds over all of the information to your website. It feeds that information over to your consumer app and to various other places of marketing through command. For example, if you're creating direct mailers like we're doing today, or if you are creating email newsletters, your marketing is going to feed over to that. All of that comes from your marketing profile. So you do want to make sure that is toggled on and you have a little green light here. You do want to make sure that your photo is attached. It is recommended that it's 360 by 360 pixels. If you need help adjusting that, resizing that, we're happy to help. So you can always email us at support@scottleroymarketing.com. You do want to have a team logo here. Now, if you're not on a team, you might ask why you want a logo here. Unfortunately, some pieces of marketing are going to pull this logo, whether you're on a team or not. So we just recommend putting something there if you're not on a team. If you've branded yourself as a solo agent and you have your own logo, you can certainly put that here. Or if you just want to put a KW logo, if you have a second headshot you'd like to put in, any of those we've seen that work just fine. Again, recommended 360 by 360. Next, you are going to want to make sure your details here are up to date. First, last name are required. Agent license number is going to be important for certain pieces of marketing, so definitely drop that in there if you have it. Titles, slogans, things like that, not necessarily required, but great to have. Your bio is a required field. You can have a generic one, or if you need some help creating a new one, we're happy to help with that as well. Phone numbers, email, website, again, not required, but important to have for certain pieces of marketing. And you do want to make sure that is the full URL. Next is going to be market center information. So you will want to make sure you have your market center specific logo here, not just a generic KW. And if you need help finding that, you can click this little KW Connect. And from there, it's going to bring you into logos and branding where you can easily search for whatever market center you are with. Preview that and then download that logo as long as that is the correct one. Market center information over here. If you have any compliance that's required for your state or brokerage, you can add those here, as well as any links or images that may need to be included. You can also include social media if you have those links. Again, the full URL. Make sure you're grabbing the public facing one when you're grabbing those, not your internal URL. Otherwise, others won't be able to access that. And if you have Google Analytics. Once you're done, you want to make sure you hit that save button. For anyone joining, we're just going over the marketing profile. This is important because it does feed over to the direct mailer templates that we're going to be using today. So we do want to just make sure this information is up to date. I don't see any questions, so we are going to just keep going. Next thing we want to do is we want to head into campaigns. Now, if you're not sure which one campaigns is, it looks kind of like a megaphone. You can also expand this by hitting the red and white KW, and you'll notice that it's now campaigns here. Now, when we click into that, we are brought into our campaigns dashboard. There are multiple different types of campaigns you can run through here. Paid ads, email campaigns, direct mailers, which is what we're going to take a look at today. You can also do social media posting through here. If you're interested in any of those other topics, we do also have classes on those, so you can check those out. But for today, we're going to focus on the direct mail, so we're going to take a look at that one. Now from here, we are brought into just direct mail. It's going to say how many month to date we've sent, recipients, leads, money spent. You can search for specific mailers that you've sent out. You can filter them based on mailed, drafted, archived, or all of those. You can filter based on the category that you've selected for that campaign. It will give you all of those over here. You can also just take a look at any of the old campaigns that you have. It will have the overview, which is the name that you've given that campaign. It does have a preview of the image that you've created, what status that's in, whether it's drafted or mailed, archived, etc. The date that that was sent out, how many mailed, or a date mailed, I'm sorry, leads from that, recipients, and then of course you have the goal. Now your goal is your purpose. So why are you sending the direct mailer? Are you trying to find buyers, sellers? Are you advertising or trying to promote a event that you're having? Whatever it may be, you'll have a goal for that. You also have 3 little dots to the far right. Clicking those, you can edit if it's still inactive and hasn't been sent out. You can duplicate, and you can also archive that. So now that we've gone over this, we're now going to go ahead and go into creating a campaign. So we're going to hit create. It's again going to ask us what type we're doing. So we're going to hit direct mail. And from there, we're going to just name what we're doing. So I'm going to just put today's date. That's kind of what I tend to do. It makes it easy for me to know which one I'm using. Then we select our goal. So are we advertising a listing? Are we trying to promote an event that we're having for clients and we're going to send this out to our database? You get to decide here what you're doing. We're going to go ahead and start with advertise a listing, and we're going to hit create. Now from there, it brings us into search for the listing that we're trying to promote. So I'm going to grab a MLS number that I have handy here. You can search by the address. We recommend searching by the MLS number. Keep in mind when you're searching for properties through command, it's going to pull all of the MLS information. So it may be a little bit of searching if you don't use the MLS number. I am going to change it from my listings to all because I don't have any listings. Let's say I've gotten permission to use this listing before I'm using it to promote. And I do see a hand raise. Jonathan, if you want to drop your question in the chat, I can take a look at it and see if I can help you out. But I'm going to enter my MLS number and go ahead and search. And I might have an old MLS that's not active anymore. So give me 1 second. We might just search by property address if we need to. Let's pick one off the website here. There we go. Found one that we can use. And I'm just going to use the address for this one. Oops, actually I typed the wrong one. Jonathan, if you're trying to catch up, we're just in the campaigns. If you're trying to do it on one screen, it may be a little bit hard to go back and forth. I may recommend watching the video to do that, but totally up to you. So this is the listing I was looking for. I'm going to go ahead and hit select. And now, as you can see, it has pulled in that listing information. So I can still change that if I grab the wrong one by accident or if I'm doing a different one. But we can move on to content. So from here, there's a couple of options. We can upload a custom template that we've created. Let's say that we created a postcard design inside of Command, and we want to use that. Or you've created one in Canva or a different platform and you'd like to upload that custom template that you've created, you can certainly do that. And we'll take a look at that at the second half of the class. But for the first part, we are going to take a look at the template. So as you can see, there are a few different templates over here that you can use. We have compact, default, large modern, and large contemporary. Now they do have a little bit different sizes over here, so pay attention to that if that's important to you. Before I select one though, I want to make sure we get our photo because you can see the preview a little bit better once we have a photo selected. So again, it is pulling in all of the listing details here, or at least most of them. And then from there, we can go ahead and grab our listing photo. So we can look for listing images, or if this is your listing and you have the photos, oops, clicked a button, sorry. Trying to let somebody in. Or if this is not your listing and you want to just use the MLS, you've gotten permission, you can go ahead and hit listing image. And then you can come and select the photo that you'd like to use. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab this one right here. As you're going to notice on most of these images, as you're pulling them in, they are going to have that little exclamation mark that says low resolution. Any photo that you're pulling through the MLS for this purpose is going to state that it is low resolution. The reason for that being is that these photos are going from the MLS to the KWLS and then from KWLS into this editor that we're using. So in that process of going from all of those platforms, it's losing a little bit of its quality. However, I generally don't see an issue when I'm using these, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. If we go up and we look at that photo, it still looks really good. And you can still see it pretty clearly. So not super worried about this one, but if you are, we do recommend uploading your own. Jonathan, if you're in the direct mailer part, it should allow you to say create campaign from this section here. Sorry guys, one second. From campaigns, if you do create a campaign and do direct mail, you select the title and what your goal is and then hit create, and it will bring you into the screen we're in once you select your listing. Now that we have a photo here though, you guys, I do want to show you the various different templates that they offer. So again, there's a few different ones. And the reason I like to wait for the photo to be there is once I toggle between them, the preview changes. And if you don't have a photo there, you can't necessarily see how this fades. So that's the reason I like to wait. And also, if it's cutting off part of your image, you know, you want to make sure that you're getting the one that suits the photo you're using the best. And matches the size that you want. So for this specific image that I'm using, I actually do like the compact template the best. It is a 4x6, which is fine. But we're going to go ahead and go through the rest of the details. Note over here on the preview, you can also toggle to the back where it is going to put that description here. There is a maximum because obviously you have to leave room for this other information. So keep that in mind when you're putting stuff here. It's going to pull the description, but you're going to most likely need to edit that. I'm just going to delete some of this and see where we're at. That's great. And it will update that automatically over here. You can see it's already updated. I can still swap the photo if I want to use a different one, say like the pool or whatever. I can grab any photo I'd like. Moving down though, you'll see that it has the agent information here. This is what I was going over the marketing profile for. This information is going to pull directly from that marketing profile. You, of course, can still edit here, but if you're having to edit here every single time, you most likely just want to update your marketing profile. You can, of course, adjust the cropping or anything like that if you need to. The only adjustment you'll need to make here is in the phone number. If you come here and just hit the space bar on your keyboard to make sure that phone number templates correctly. And then from there, we can go ahead and hit save. Again, it's going to warn me, hey, low resolution photo. They're recommending the size at least 300 DPI and 1200 by 1800 pixels. Real Mailers is not responsible for low quality postcards. So by saying that you're using this image, you're acknowledging that and you are accepting the blame if it doesn't look correctly. Next here is the market center information. So again, pulling all of this from the marketing profiling command. Again, can still be updated, but much easier to just pull it in. If you need to make any changes, you certainly can. It does require you to put the zip code in. When you're in the marketing profile, the city, state, and zip code is all within one field. So it doesn't break those apart to enter that here. So you just got to add the one little section and go ahead and hit verify the address. Now, it may give you, hey, you need to use this address instead. Make sure it's at least accurate before you just hit confirm though. Excuse me. Once we're done, we have the green check mark for our market center information, and we're going to move on to targeting. So it is pulling the listing address for this targeting information here. I can certainly adjust that if I don't want to use the property address though. This is also where you have the option to target your database. We'll take a look at that on the next postcard that we create so you can see what that looks like. From here though, if we like the address, we want to leave it as a property address. We're going to go ahead and hit save. And from there, we get to set our budget. So how many of these do you want to mail out, or how much money do you want to spend? Because you can decide either or. If you're not wanting to spend that and you want to spend 150 or less, you can keep adjusting that until you hit that mark. You can also just use these arrows to up that. It's kind of whatever you want to do there. Ooh, 194. Just picking a random number. You can, sometimes it will give you the option for different postcards to choose first class or standard. I think it depends on the template you're using as to which one it allows you to use. Once you're done, you can go ahead and hit save. Is there a field for the website URL? If you're looking to add your website URL, it does not give you that on here. However, this next part that I'm going to show you may answer that for you. Over here, again, we have our preview. There is this QR code option down here on the bottom. This is a great way to link your website to your postcard by adding a QR code that they can scan from their phone, and it will redirect them to your website or any other URL that you'd like to use. So if you turn that on and you select a page that you would like that to go to, so for example, the agent website is pulling that from my marketing profile. So if I hit that, it's going to put a QR code up here on the right-hand corner of the postcard. So anyone that scans that, I now have the ability to capture them as a lead when they go to my website if they complete the form to register or contact me. That is one of the only ways to really track contacts for these because there is no way to export who they're being mailed to because there are no contacts associated with the addresses. We'll show you that in a second. But there's also no way to pull those addresses when you're doing this. There's no export of the list or anything like that. So I definitely recommend using the QR to add that and have an extra way to kind of capture leads from these postcards. Once we're done there, though, we can go ahead and do configure targeting. Are you sure you want to create this campaign? We're going to go ahead and hit yes. And while that's loading, it's just redirecting us to real mailers to finish setting that up. So as you can see now, we're going to configure exactly who we want this sent to. So within Command, you have the ability to get very specific with who you want to send postcards to. You can target specific neighborhoods. You can also target based on single-family homes or multifamily homes. By just checking those, you'll see that it's going to change my map over here. The blue dots are currently where those postcards are going to. But as I did that, it did expand my area. Let's see if I can find one. In some cases, if it's like an apartment building, and this may not have one. Oh, there we go. So for this one exactly here, it's showing 2 units. Sorry, just let someone in. So in some cases, when they're sending to multifamily, it's going to have a few dots. And in some cases, it's sending to massive apartment buildings. So you'll be able to see how many units are within each of those dots by hovering over them. You also have the ability, if you see one on here that you don't want, or let's say you don't want to target that 2 units. See if I can find it again. Maybe not. 4 units. Let's just remove 6 units. Let's remove that one. So we can remove it, and it will remove it from the postcards that are sent. As you can see, I can still see it. It's gray right there, and I can always restore it if I want to. But you do have the ability to kind of self-choose. If there's one that's way outside of the search area that you don't want to send to, you can certainly go ahead and remove that. It will add another one based on how many you're sending though. So just keep that in mind. We can also go back to single family homes. It's going to, again, adjust those dots in the perimeter that it's going to. We can adjust this based on how many bedrooms a house has. So if we want to target homes that have 2 bedrooms or less, we can do that. If we want to adjust based on square footage, the year the home was built, this one may make it a lot bigger. Probably shouldn't have gone so low. It'll take just a second and then I can readjust. I did get a question. This was after I created the postcard. I went to configure, and this is where we were brought to. If you missed it, though, we are going to create one more postcard, so you'll get to see us get to this specific screen again. We can also filter based on the last time your house was sold, the last amount it was sold for. Again, all of that can be adjusted. So as you can see, we now have a large range here. We can go ahead and hit next once we're good with this. You do have the option to send yourself a postcard. These will go to your market center, but if you want to have a physical copy to see what that looks like when it's being mailed out, you can certainly add that. As you can see, it is going to charge you for that card. So just keep that in mind. Now we have a preview of our postcard. I can go ahead and hit preview larger and it will open it in a new tab so that I can just take a closer look at this. I can zoom in. Make sure that the quality of that photo actually does look pretty good. I don't have any real issues with it. And then I can see all of the other information. Now, as I was saying before, these do not have contact names associated with the card. It's going to say current resident or something like that. So there is no way to export those names or addresses from Command. Once we're good with the preview and we're happy with our postcard, we can go ahead and take a look at the order summary. From there, we get to see how many postcards we're sending again, how much each of them costs, and our grand total. Postage is included. These are not something that you have to pick up from your office and mail out. They will go out directly to those homes that you've targeted. So there's no postage or anything like that necessary. I do like to go over the processing down here, so I'm just going to read through that for you guys. Same day processing. This happens if you submit your order by 3 p.m. on a business day. Your mailers will then go into production that same day at a fulfillment center that is nearest to the target area. From there, USPS distribution, your cards are put into the mail within 2 business days of that. And then from there, the estimated delivery, your mailers are going to be estimated to arrive in mailboxes 4 to 6 business days once the order is submitted. Once the order is submitted, you can't see the rest of it. It's kind of cut off, but it will provide you a more accurate estimated date of when those will actually be arrived. You can also schedule these. Let's say you have a event that you're throwing. Maybe you're throwing a Halloween event for your clients or whatever. You can certainly schedule those to start on a specific date. Let's say you know you have that coming. You've already started creating design, things like that. You want to get your mailers set up. Keep in mind that scheduled date is when they go into processing, not when they go into the mail. So you still have to account for all of those extra days before they're physically sent and received. From there, you just enter your card information and set up payment and you're good to go. So that is the template mailer. The next thing we're going to take a look at is creating a custom one. So for that, I'm going to go ahead and go back. And as you can see, it should save that as a draft right here. So if I need to go back and make changes, I certainly can. For creating a custom template in Command, the first place we want to go is over to Designs. And from here, I'm going to do Create a Design, and I'm looking for Print since I'm going to do a postcard. Just wait for it to load. And then from here, we want to decide what kind of postcard we're doing. So most likely, you know that before you come into here. Let's see. I was going to do one that we can send to our database. Maybe I will. I don't think there's any postcard sized ones for that. Is this basics? I don't know if they have like a "you're invited" kind of one in here anymore. Wait 1 second. I'm just kind of, maybe in lead generation. You can create your own. Oh, event invitations. I completely skipped over it. Let's do one of these. So we'll just grab this one right here. So I just went to whatever category you're looking for. And again, you can do these for any of these. So if you're doing an open house one and you want a custom one or a just sold, whatever it may be, you can grab any of those here as well. I'm just doing an event because it makes more sense when we're trying to send it to our database. But once I pick my design, they're all going to have these sizes up top for you to decide which one works the best. So for that, you want to pick one of the postcard sizes. There is portrait. I'm not going to do that one though. I want to do a postcard standard. And there's a question for the postcards. For this, I'm in Command Designs. So if you come into Designs and you go into the templates, you can get there by creating or importing and then looking at the templates. Either way will bring you into here. And that's where you can then decide what you're doing and find the one that you want to use. Again, they'll all have these up here so you can find the correct sizing. For postcards, the thing is, when you're moving it from the design platform into the postcard platform, you're still going to have to resize it, which we'll take a look at. The reason for that being is that they're technically 2 different platforms. They're both within Command. However, when we are creating a design in Command, it's through WeBrand. And when we're sending a direct mailer through Command, it's through Real Mailers. So the platforms are different and the sizing doesn't line up perfectly. So either way, we're going to take a look at resizing it. Isaac, yes, we will actually resize our design in Canva and upload from there. So I will show you how to do that. But here's our postcard. We get to decide our photos. So whatever event you're having, we get to kind of look for that. I'm gonna go ahead and let's just look for Halloween. I know it's nowhere near Halloween, but I keep seeing stuff about people putting decorations out, so we're just gonna go with it. And that's not what I want to do. I'm gonna click on the photo first. And once I click on the photo, I'm gonna have these double arrows to replace. When I do that, it's gonna put that picture in that exact perfect little square. Now that's not to say I can't still crop that and resize it. So you do have that ability. And then I'm gonna hit done. Now I have my pumpkin. Um, I'm just gonna put you're invited. I'm gonna keep this really simple because I really just want to show you how to add a custom one in. So we'll do you're invited. Let's change the color to be, let's do orange to match our pumpkin. And apply. And let's change up our font. That's big. Back down a little bit. There we go. Let's say it is trunk or treat. Who knows? We'll just make something up. And we're going to do October. Let's do 5th. And we'll leave it at 4 to 7, that's fine. And then if you had any other details, you can certainly add those. Now, this is a postcard, so we have a front and a back. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit the pages over here. And as you can see, I have my back side of my postcard as well. Now, one thing I wanna mention here is if you're creating this design, whether you're creating it in Command or in Canva, you wanna make sure that this space over here is pretty open because as we can remember from our last template, it does need that area over there for the postage and all of that stuff. So I would leave a pretty good amount of this open back here. Now you can still add a QR code or whatever you want from here. We'll go ahead and edit this really quick. We'll just say trunk or treat. I can't type. We said it was October 5th. This is where if you do want to add that QR code for something, if say you want people to RSVP for your event or whatever it might be, you can certainly grab that. I have my QR for my app already in here, so I'm going to go ahead and add that. It's already built into my assets. I can then go ahead and edit my information. I'm going to leave the phone number, and then we're just going to change the email here. As you can see, it's a little big over there. This may cause a problem when we get over to our design, but we'll wait and see. Now I already put a QR code here for my app. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually just swap these. And I'm gonna delete the code because it's easier for them to just scan the QR code. Sorry, getting a little quick copy. I'm gonna go ahead and replace my logo. Oh, that's blurry. Maybe it will adjust. Anyways, I'm good with that. So I'm going to leave this the way it is. And we're going to go ahead and show you guys how to resize that and put that into the direct mailer. You can upload a template from anywhere. You just may have to resize it before you upload it into Command. No matter where you're building your postcard templates, you can upload them. Like I said, you just may have to adjust it. So I'm going to download these as a JPEG just because I'm going to have to resize them anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and open that. And then we're going to go ahead and hit done. Now that I have my postcard, of course, if I need to come back in and edit my postcard, I certainly can, but we're going to head back into campaigns. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and hit create a campaign again. And again, we are doing direct mailers. I'm going to put this as trunk or treat. And we're going to do event awareness this time. And I'm going to hit create. Now, slightly different because I'm not focused on a listing. It did not prompt me to search for a listing. So as you can see, it brought me straight into this. If you're looking to pull directly from the MLS, usually you want to do something listing related. But once we're here, we're going to go ahead and do upload a custom template. Now, this is where it's giving you the resizing. There are a couple of different ways to resize your images. You can also use resizer. Here it is. It's imageresizer.com. I'll drop that in the chat. I use Canva because I already have a pre-made template in there. Not template, but I already have a custom file that's that exact size. So it makes it really easy for me to pick my size. But if you are trying to do it custom, you can come in here and grab these sizes. So if we do create a design and custom size, we can pick those sizes that match the template. Let me close this. So again, these are height and width, or if you want to do by inches, you can pick whichever one. I already have some, as you can see when we're over here, that match those pixels. So I think I have 18 by 12. So I have this top one that's 4 by 6. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to leave mine as that, but if you want to use a different size, you are more than welcome. Again, you can just type those in here. If you want to change this by inches, you can do that as well. But I'm going to go ahead and hit this one here so we can pull that open. Now from there, I'm going to go ahead and pull in my images that I just created. Oops, does not like that. All right. So now I'm just going to pull my image over onto that. It's perfectly squared now. I'm going to hit add a page. I'm going to do duplicate, but you can also just add and swap that photo. Now that I have these, that my quality looks a little strange, but I'm going to go with it because we're just trying to show you guys how to do this. I would probably adjust that if this were actually being sent out though. I'm going to go ahead and hit download. I'm going to leave these as a PNG, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to separate them so that I don't have to extract all that stuff. So Canva is real easy because I'm just resizing. I'm not creating anything in here. Now I've downloaded both my front and my back of my postcard. So I can go ahead and come into create campaigns. And now I can go ahead and upload my postcard. So I'm going to go ahead and drag those over. And I can preview both my front and my back again. Now, as you can see, when I'm creating this one, there is no option to add a QR code. So if you want to add a QR code to this one, you need to do it on the image itself. It does not have the same function as the templates to add that and direct it to your page. So just keep that in mind. And I just realized I sent that image resizer to someone specifically. I'm so sorry. But again, we have front and back now. We can go ahead and hit save. Our sizes are going to match. We can do the same thing, market center, enter all of our information, verify the address. Select our targeting. Now this is where you either have to determine where you want to target a neighborhood or if you're looking to target your database. When I hit target my database, it's going to allow me to add my contacts. And from there, it is going to pull up my contacts. Now, as you can see, these are all grayed out. I cannot select them. I don't have addresses in my command because it's just for training. So as you can see, these are all Disney characters. So I can't select any of these because there's no address. The contact's primary address will be used if a mailing address is not available. So for these to be sent to contacts, you do need to either have a mailing address or a primary address listed for the contact. Once that is added, you can go ahead and add them, and it will add them directly to here to where you can go ahead and proceed. Again, I don't have any, so I can't add any. So it's going to give me an error. So I'm just going to put in an address so we can get back to the other part. Oops. And now it will allow us to proceed. Next is budget. Again, same thing. You decide the cost or the budget you would like to set, or the amount, and go ahead and hit save. Unfortunately, in command, it's either you have to send it to the database or to a specific neighborhood. So you can't just include a list and have it sent. However, if you have a specific list you're looking to send with names and contacts and all of that, you can import those with a specific tag so that they're easily identifiable so that you can just send those people the mailer. But unfortunately, they do either have to be in command or just in the neighborhood you're targeting. Next, though, once everything is good, we're go to configure targeting, and that is when we are brought back into that screen where we identify the addresses we want to send this to. So I'm just going to let that load for a second. I don't think I missed any questions, but if I did, go ahead and drop those in the chat again. You should be able to filter based on tag when you're doing that. I can go back just to confirm. Here, let me open a different screen. Oops. I'm fairly certain it lets you filter by the. Yeah, so you can search by tags here. And it will pull just those contacts for you to select from. So that is an easy way to just send to those people. Again, we're back to the same image. This is exactly the same process as before when we were doing the other postcards. So I don't have to go through this in full detail unless you guys want to. I do like to save room for questions at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and stop record. We have about 15 minutes. That's a great time for any questions you guys might have.